The silence. Around them, the sky above the planet was no longer blue. A dark red mist hung in the atmosphere, a sign that the end had already started. The small alien family stood outside their shelter, watching the horizon. Fires burned in the distance. Cities had fallen. Ships had left. Help had stopped coming. The father of the family, a tall creature with silver skin and thin limbs, held his youngest child in his arms. His two older children stood beside him, quiet and scared. The mother sat behind them, her back injured from the last tremor that shook their home. They were not warriors. They were just farmers. Peaceful, kind, and forgotten. Their planet had once been full of life, part of the Galactic Union. But when the plague came, followed by groundquakes and firestorms, the Union decided it was too dangerous to stay. Evacuation ships were sent, but only for the rich, the powerful, or those with influence. The rest were told to wait. But the ships never came back. Soon their neighbors left. Then the nearby cities went quiet. Days turned into weeks. The family tried to stay strong, but food was low, water was poison, and the air made their lungs burn. The youngest coughed in his father's arms. The sound was weak, like a whisper fading into the wind. One evening, a loud rumble filled the sky. The family looked up, expecting another storm. Instead, they saw a ship, but it wasn't like the ones from the Union. This one was different. Sharp edges, thick armor, and glowing blue engines. It moved slowly, scanning the area. It looked like it was made for war. The father held his children close. "Hide," he whispered. The ship hovered above for a moment, then landed not far from their shelter. The doors opened with a hiss, and armored figures stepped out. Heavy boots touched the ground, their helmets gleamed in the orange light. The family watched in fear. But then, one of the armored figures removed their helmet. It was a human. The human stepped forward and raised a hand in peace. He looked tired, like someone who had seen too much war. Behind him, more humans appeared, men and women, each carrying supplies, medical kits, and tools. "We saw your distress signal," the human said calmly. "We came to help." The father didn't answer at first. No one had spoken kindly to them in weeks. No one had come for them. Not until now. "You are not part of the Union," the father said slowly. "No," the human replied. "They left. We didn't." Another human stepped forward, a woman with short hair and a calm voice. "We were on patrol when we heard your call. We knew it was risky to land here, but we couldn't ignore it. That's not what humans do." The children looked up, unsure whether to trust them. The human woman knelt down and opened a food pack. She handed it to the older child with a soft smile. "Here, eat." The child hesitated, then took the food. The taste made his eyes widen. It was fresh, warm, and real. Over the next hour, the humans set up equipment. They tested the air, scanned the ground, and checked the mother's wounds. One of them gave the youngest child a small toy from their backpack, a spinning star with lights. "You shouldn't have come," the father finally said. "It's too dangerous. The ground will open again soon." "We know," the human leader replied. "But you're not alone anymore. We stay." The father didn't understand. "Why? What do you gain from helping us?" The human smiled. "Sometimes the right thing doesn't need a reason." A moment of silence passed. The wind blew dust across the ruined land. But for the first time, in weeks, the family felt something they thought was lost. Hope. The Earthborn promise. By the next morning, the humans had already built a small protective camp around the alien family's shelter. Metal walls unfolded from their ship, forming a barrier. Sensors were placed along the outer lines to detect tremors or toxic winds. A power unit hummed softly, bringing light and clean air inside the camp. The father sat quietly as one of the humans cleaned his wife's wounds and wrapped them in a silver-colored bandage. The bandage glowed faintly. It was healing fast. The mother gave a small nod, grateful but still unsure if she should trust them fully. You came all this way, the father said, watching the human woman work. You risked your lives for strangers. We've done worse for less, the woman replied with a small grin. But saving lives, that's worth something. The children had begun warming up to the new visitors. The older boy helped one human carry supply crates, and the younger girl sat close to a soldier, watching him repair a damaged scanner. The youngest, still weak, was resting on a warm cot inside the medical tent. A human medic stayed beside him, checking his breathing often. Later that day, the ground trembled again. Everyone froze. The scanner lights turned red. An alert buzzed through the camp. It's a deep crack opening, said one of the humans. Magnitude 6. It's coming from the west. The father looked toward the edge of the camp. That direction led to a dried riverbed near the hills, where the family had stored the last of their grain and water. If it was lost, there would be nothing left. I must go, the father said quickly. That's where our supplies are. One of the human men stepped in front of him. No, too dangerous, we'll go. You don't understand the terrain, the father protested. We're not here to argue, the human replied firmly. We didn't come all this way just to watch you run into a death trap, he called over to others. In minutes, the humans packed emergency gear and left for the western hill, walking carefully across cracked earth. The alien father could only wait. Hours passed. The sky darkened with smoke again, and another tremor shook the camp, but lighter this time. The family huddled inside while the human guards remained at their posts. Then, the team returned. They were dirty, tired, and one of them had a bleeding cut on his cheek, but they were smiling. They carried several sealed boxes with the family's grain and water tanks still intact. You risked everything. Again, the father said in disbelief. One human chuckled. Get used to it. That's what we do. That night, the humans cooked a hot meal using both their rations and the alien food. It was a strange mix of spices and tastes, but no one complained. They all sat together around a small firelight projector. The children laughed softly. The mother smiled. Even the father's eyes relaxed. You could leave now, the father said as the firelight flickered. You saved us, that would be enough. The human leader shook his head. We don't leave people behind. The stars above shone through the red sky. For the first time, they felt peaceful. The father looked around the camp, the metal walls, the lights, the humans standing watch at every corner. These people who came from a world far away had shown more loyalty and courage than the entire Union ever had. He whispered under his breath. Maybe legends about humans were true after all. The human leader smiled as if he heard the words. We're not legends, he said. We're just human, and humans stay. The Union returns. The next few days were calm, but the humans stayed alert. They worked in shifts, watching the skies, and checking the scanners. The camp grew stronger. Extra shields, clean water systems, and better medical care. The alien family grew stronger too. The children smiled more. The mother could finally walk again with help. The father stopped looking at the sky in fear, but peace didn't last long. On the 6th morning, a different kind of sound filled the air. It wasn't thunder or quake or fire. It was engines, powerful, smooth, and quiet, not human. A large silver ship appeared in the sky. It had the mark of the Galactic Union on its wings. The father stepped forward. They came back. The human leader didn't look happy. He stared at the scanner. No distress signal was sent. Someone must have told them we were here. The Union ship landed a short distance away. Its sleek body gleamed under the red light of the sky. From its side, diplomats and soldiers stepped out. Their uniforms were clean, their faces calm, but their eyes cold. The lead diplomat, tall and sharp-looking, approached the camp and raised a hand. We greet you, he said, looking at the alien family. We are here to take you to safety. The father hesitated. Why now? You left us, to die. We had priorities, the diplomat replied. Evacuation was limited, we're sorry for the delay. One of the human soldiers whispered. More like sorry they were caught. The father looked at the humans, then back at the Union. "You didn't answer our calls," he said. "You never came back until now." "We didn't forget you," the diplomat said smoothly. "We simply followed orders." The human leader stepped forward. "And your orders told you to leave families behind to suffer?" The diplomat's face twitched. "This is not your matter, human. We thank you for assisting, but your job is done now. We'll take it from here." The human's eyes narrowed. "They're not cargo to be handed off." Tension filled the air. Soldiers on both sides shifted. The Union ship hummed, its cannons slowly turning. The humans didn't move, but their hands stayed close to their weapons. The alien father raised his voice. "No." Everyone froze. "I choose to stay," he said. "With them." The diplomat looked surprised. "You would prefer to stay on a dying planet?" "I would prefer to live with honor," the father replied. "These humans risked their lives for us. They protected my family. They didn't ask for anything. You left us. They didn't." The Union officer looked annoyed. "This is foolish." The human leader stepped closer. "Maybe, but it's their choice." When the sun rose, it brought silence. The humans gathered the bodies of the creatures, scanning them and checking for more. The alien father stood beside the human leader, both covered in dirt and sweat. "You could have left long ago," the father said, voice tired but proud. The human shook his head. "So could you." They shared a quiet smile. Now the camp wasn't just a shelter. It was home. And the alien family wasn't just being saved. They were part of the defense, part of the fight, part of something greater. The message from the stars the morning after the battle was quiet, but it was the kind of quiet that made people nervous. The ground had stopped shaking. The wind carried only ash and silence. The creatures that had attacked were gone, but no one relaxed. Everyone inside the camp knew it was not over. Inside the command tent, the humans worked on the long-range antenna. Smoke damage had fried the power lines, but they were repairing it with help from the alien father. He had steady hands and now understood the tools. Suddenly, a sharp beep broke the silence. One of the screens lit up. "Incoming transmission. Class 4 priority. Encryption. Union military." The humans exchanged looks. The leader stepped forward and accepted the signal. A hologram flashed in the air. A stern-faced Union commander with hard eyes and polished armor. "This is Commander Errol of the Galactic Union. You are illegally occupying an unstable quarantine zone. You are ordered to stand down and evacuate immediately. Our forces will arrive within 2 cycles to secure the area. Any resistance will be dealt with accordingly." The message ended. Silence filled the room. The alien father frowned. "They're not coming to help. They're coming to control. They don't like being embarrassed," one of the humans said. "We made them look bad by staying." The human leader nodded. "And now they'll try to erase that." He looked at his team, then at the alien family who had gathered near the entrance of the tent. "We won't leave," the leader said. "We stay until it's safe, until they're safe." "But can you fight the Union?" the alien mother asked quietly. The leader didn't lie. "Not forever. Not alone." He tapped a command into the console and began recording. "To any human, vessels and nearby systems. This is Captain Ron, requesting support. We are aiding survivors on a failed evacuation world. Union forces are coming to erase our presence. We will hold the line as long as we can, but we need backup." He sent the message, then he turned to the team. "Fortify the wall. Set the sky turrets. Everyone drills twice today, no mistakes." The alien children stood near the human soldiers, watching them reload and check their armor. The youngest whispered to his brother, "Will they really fight?" "All those ships?" The brother nodded. "They'll fight for us like they always have." Later that night, while the others worked, the alien father stood on the edge of the wall looking at the stars. The human leader joined him. "I used to think your people were only about war," the father said. "We've made mistakes," the human replied. "But when we choose to protect someone, we don't stop." They stood in silence for a moment. Above them, a soft blinking light appeared in the sky. "Another ship?" not Union, a human scout vessel. The message had been heard. More would come. The fight wasn't over, but now they weren't alone. The stand before the storm. The blinking light in the sky grew larger with each passing hour. By dawn, it became clear. It was not one ship, but many. The Galactic Union had sent a fleet. Sleek silver vessels moved in formation across the sky, blocking the sun like a storm of machines. Their message was loud and simple: leave, or be removed. Inside the camp, no one ran, no one begged. The humans moved quickly but not in fear, in purpose. They placed energy shields around the command tent, mounted portable cannons at the edge of the wall, and handed out emergency comm units to every person, including the alien family. The alien father looked up at the sky. They're going to bomb the surface. We're betting they won't, said the human captain. They want to scare us, but they don't know us. The alien mother stood beside him. And if they do attack, then we show them why Death Worlders is more than just a word. Still, they needed more than weapons. The camp was small. The Union was many. And so, the captain called for everyone to gather. This is not just a fight, he said, standing in front of the whole camp. This is a message. The Union thinks they can choose who deserves saving. They think compassion has a price tag. But we're humans. We don't leave people behind. He turned to the alien family. And we don't forget those who stood with us. The alien father stepped forward. Then let us stand with you now. The humans handed them light armor, comms, and stun tools. They trained them quickly but carefully. The older children helped run messages across the camp. The mother helped monitor scanners. The father worked alongside the humans, preparing traps near the hills. The youngest child stayed in the shelter, but he smiled every time someone walked past. He had no fear now. By mid-afternoon, the Union sent one last warning. A transmission appeared in the camp speakers. This is your final notice. You have 10 minutes to surrender. After that, we will neutralize all threats. The human captain sent no reply. Instead, he turned to his team. Everyone in position. The alien father nodded. We're ready. 10 minutes passed. Then the sky broke open. 3 Union dropships roared down, aiming for the camp. But as they neared, hidden charges exploded near the hills, slowing them. As they dropped troops, the humans activated the wall cannons. Twin bursts of blue energy lit the sky. The first ship crashed into a nearby ridge, the second landed and released armored soldiers. They marched in quickly but met resistance from both humans and aliens. The father led a team to flank their side, surprising them with stun pulses from behind. The battle raged. The Union troops fought with numbers, but the defenders fought with fire, not just in their weapons, but in their hearts. Even the alien, children ran supplies and helped evacuate the wounded. One of the human soldiers shouted through the comms, "They're breaking. They're not used to real resistance." Inside the Union command ship above, their admiral watched in shock. They were supposed to flee, he muttered, not fight. But humans didn't run, and neither did those they inspired. Back on the ground, the last Union dropship was surrounded. The defenders moved like one, humans and aliens, side by side. After a final push, the Union commander on the surface dropped his weapon. "This wasn't worth it," he said. "You're all insane." The human captain picked up the weapon and tossed it aside. "No," he said, "we're just loyal." The legacy of those who stayed smoke drifted across the sky, curling around the hills like fading shadows. The battle was over. The ground was covered in scorched metal, broken weapons, and fallen pride. The Union ships had withdrawn, what remained of them. Their commanders, embarrassed and outmatched by a small human force and a group of helpless aliens, had no choice but to retreat. In the camp, silence returned. But it was no longer the silence of fear. It was peace. The human soldiers gathered, near the main tent. Some were wounded. All were exhausted. But there were smiles on every face. They had stood against a fleet, and won. The alien family stood with them. The father still wore the light armor. His hands were dirty, his eyes were proud. "You saved us," he said softly. "But you did more than that. You showed us who we could become." The human captain shook his head. "You saved yourselves. We just stood beside you." The alien mother stepped forward. "The Union will remember this." "They will," the captain said. "And so will others. What happened here? It won't stay quiet." He was right. Within days, word of the battle spread across the stars. News leaked from captured Union comms. Small colonies ignored by the Union for years began sending messages, not to the Union but to humans, requests for help, offers of alliance. Thanks. One human ship became 2, then 5. Then a whole fleet was dispatched, not for war, but for peace, to help those the Union had abandoned, to protect, not to conquer. The camp on the broken world was rebuilt, stronger, brighter. The alien family chose not to leave. They turned the shelter into a home. The children studied with human instructors. The father joined the new patrol teams. The mother began teaching others how to survive and rebuild. The youngest child, once weak and coughing, now ran through the field near the camp's edge, spinning his little star toy in his hand. He always kept it close. One day, as the sun rose over the repaired hills, the captain stood with the father, looking out over the land they had saved together. "You know," the father said, "you didn't have to come back for us. You could have passed by, forgotten, like everyone else." The captain smiled. "We're human. That's not how we're built." The father nodded. "Then maybe we should be more like you." He looked up at the sky, where a new station was being built in orbit. A joint project between humans and dozens of alien species. A place where no one would be abandoned again. A place built on loyalty, sacrifice, and courage. A place built on what started here, when humans refused to leave.